Hey gang, today on One Take Reviews, we're going to be taking a look at Osama Sentai Kingohger's Kingohger. And I'm going to say right off the bat, he does stand. He just doesn't want to. So I'm not going to do the full fake stand thing where he just sits on his belly. He's going to sit in shame because he refuses to stand today. Also, I have no idea how camera is going to go. Because this thing is huge, and I never considered the fact that I might have to move the camera until right now. So, to get started, I'm going to go from smallest to largest. We're going to start off with God Ant. God Ant is cast in completely black plastic, and he's just this little guy. I love him so much. He does have the ability to ride on top of Kuwagan's head, or God Kuwagata. They actually made little nubs here so that he will stop if he doesn't roll over. But if you hold him down, he'll fall off. Because I'm a liar, but the nubs are there. He does stay. But if you actually have him slide down, he will fall off. Then we have two God Tentos, which are little ladybugs. See if we can get some detail in there. They do have little eyes. You can see it on the second one here. Cast in red and black plastic. In theory, this one should also be able to stay on its head, but it can't. It can't. Because it's too big. It doesn't actually catch. And, well, that's a lie. It does catch, but it's too heavy. Because God Ant needs to ride the Kuwagan, because it does it in the show. Now, let's talk about the spiders. We have God Kumonos. Both of them, you have one red with gray legs and one gray with red legs. I'm going to have to remember which is which for the combination later, but this is the first one with articulation. The legs can move up and down. They each have four little eyes, if it would stay in focus. Little black stripe here. Get these out of the way. Now, we'll go in the opposite of call order. Sorry, I had to scratch myself. We have Godhachi, which is the bee. Normally, I like to set them up like this. However, this can fold all the way back, so it can actually be a bee. But if you do that, he just kind of sits like that, so I don't like it. This little stinger can move, and his wings are on ball joints that are limited here. But besides that, they have a decent range of articulation. Get a little stand, you can clamp him right about here, and he'll fly in the sky. I didn't want to hunt down my stands for these, because I bought stands specifically to use for these. But hey, that's okay. Put him back. Next we have God Papillon, who is a purple butterfly, black bee. It has flapping wings. These nice yellow eyes here. Overall, this will become the head, and it does hide that fairly well. I do love this blue on the wings there. And the feet can move, and it's also a little ball joint down here. So it can move around some bits. Next, we have God Kamakiri, which is a praying mantis. Has a ball-jointed head. These legs are on little rotating bits. It doesn't have much articulation besides the claws in the head. The torso can move a bit, but I think that's more for transformation. Overall, though, it's not too bad. This is the only one that technically can't fly. So in the show, they give it little boosters, and they can around. And then it does have little magenta eyes, which I do feel like is a weird thing, but that's okay. They all have weird eyes. That's a lie. Tombo and Kuwagan both have green eyes, but that's okay. Speaking of, here's God Tombo, the dragonfly. You can balance it on your finger if you try hard enough. I believe the balancing point is right here. It doesn't want... The balancing point is really weird, because it's right in between this little notch here. It's a little divot in there is the balancing point. Right there. However, his wings do flap. And yeah, just a little dragonfly dude. For the longest time, I thought these would be combination joints, and no, they're just little pegs. That's all they are. Then we have God Kuagan, or God Kuagata, who's a little broken on mine. And you'll see that as soon as I pick him up, he drops down. That's because right here, there's a clip. Right here, that's meant to hold it up. That has a snapped. There we go. Now we can see it's missing half of it. Because I dropped it when it was Ultimate kingohger, and it broke. Might have been Legend kingohger. I don't remember. But either way, it broke. He has the most articulation. He has opening and closing pincers. First ball jointed legs. He has ratchets here and ratchets at the lower base, as well as hinging in and out wings. Now, if I am to stand this up to about here, I'm going to need to move my camera. So, gang, I'm sorry if y'all get motion sickness, but we're going to take our trusty Allen wrench. We are going to loosen up the camera, and that's the wrong size Allen wrench. I feel redonkulous. I feel proper redonkulous right now, and I'm sorry, but we are going to take our actual trusty Allen wrench. We're going to adjust the camera real quick. Might be going, how can that adjust camera? Well, it just did. So I wouldn't think about it too hard. There we go for y'all. Now let's get started with the transformation. We're going to start with the Kuagan. We're going to snap it forward. We're going to take these legs, rotate them back, and we're going to split the legs. Then we are going to attach Kamakiri. Going to take these legs, flip them up, flip around the foot, and drop the head down. And just taking a look there, if I set it that far back, you'll be able to see it. So, camera's working. Next, we're going to take God Hachi. Hachi will peg it onto the other side. Going to take the wings, fold them down, and we're good there. Going to set him down and get those guys out of frame. Next up, we are going to open the pincers. Going to take these legs, flip them up, take the arm and rotate it around and down. Now I can flip these legs up and bend the elbow and flip back that little claw. Everything will be on camera. I no longer have to worry about looking at the camera. Second verse, same as the first. Such a good phrase. I had to say it. I did steal that phrase and incorporate it into my own life when I first heard it a plethora of years ago from a guy who does toy reviews named Mgo. So I have to give credit where credit's due. That it's such a great phrase. I originally heard it from him, and yeah. Next, we're going to drop the wings there, like that. Next, we're going to go and add our God Tentos to the arms. Then we can take God Papillion. We can take these legs, flip them back. We can detach the head. We can plop it on. Take God Tombo. Split it in half. And this will slide onto a little slider right here. And it would normally clip into place. But it's broken. Setting him back. You can now line up these legs with the wings if you so choose. We are going to take Silver Spider Kumonos. That's not his name. Silver God Kumo. Going to peg him in. Actually, I don't have to remember. The clip also broke on this one. It just broke naturally, though. So it just clipped from being pegged in too many times, which is surprising because it's not a clear clip. Take the other one, flip the legs up, peg it into the chest. Then we can take little stag claws, flip them up. We can take the horns, we can flip them up. Then we take the Papillion body and the Tombo tail, peg it together. Take God Ant, he will go right at the base. Let's put him a click there. And this becomes the sword. And here we have kingohger in the plastic. overall, he looks great. Getting you a little turn around here. I'm a really big fan of this design. A lot of asymmetry here, which is so nice to see on figures. Especially if it's not serious enough asymmetry to ruin it. Just like minor paint applications, which really does bring it all together. And even these claws are fine with me. How this one is like full soft plastic and this one only the tip and this little cutout are. And then giving you the look of the feet, because those are cut out of frame. Let's try my best not to drop it today. Yeah. Now getting into articulation, he has a ball jointed head. His shoulders are on these weird ratchet hinges, so they will go forward. But the one I prefer to move is the upper elbow, and then he has a secondary elbow. If we get his little cape out of the way, which is what I'll call it, which you can fold that far up and not get in the way of the grasshopper? The dragonfly. He does have a full 360 waist swivel. We flip this up. He can now get a decently forward leg, full knee. He also, if it would work with me because of the spider, legs that go about, I could have sworn, they only go that far out. I thought they went farther. Swiveling hip. And his foot is also on a pivot. Both of them are. That didn't sound like language. Both of them are. There we go. That's language. Plus, if you really want to, you can fold in the papillon wing so it's a little bit more concise. And if you don't want him to hold the sword, you can take it off. And you can peg it onto the back of God Tombo. If it would focus. Like so. Just going to flip these back up. And that is kingohger. I love this thing. This has easily become one of my favorite mechs of all time. Samurai Hao still holds that rank of all time. But that's because it is a cluster frick. These videos aren't made for kids, but if a kid watches it, I don't want them to hear that language. So, this is kingohger. God kingohger? I'm going to call him God King. No, actually, God kingohger is something else. We will do God kingohger at some point. I'm looking at Caucasus Castle, but not now. I hope y'all have a great one and an amazing one. And, most importantly, a safe one. Goodbye, y'all.